We are museum workers from Ukraine. No matter how strange it may be, we are the same as you. Every day we do the same as you do in your museums. Collect, preserve, research and popularize our own collections. We conduct excursions and workshops, exhibitions and lectures, concerts and performances, presentations and discussion panels. We are just like you, dedicated cultural professionals who are convinced that culture is not just a word. Culture is not just about antiques, authentic music, language or literature. Culture is not only the past, it is our present and our future. Culture is what unites us. It is the highest value of every nation and of every human civilization at large. Our culture is a valid part of our Ukrainian identity. That is why Ukraine is our greatest value. We are united by this value.
Для мене Україна є цінністю, бо це країна, де панує свобода.
Всі ми хочемо бути частиною чогось більшого, ніж ми є. Тому Україна дає цю нагоду бути частиною спільноти, яка є з одного боку розтягнута в часі з минулого у майбутнє, а з іншого боку розтягнута в просторі по всіх широтах нашої країни.
Тому що це моя земля, мій ґрунт, в ній моє коріння, а без коріння, як відомо, не росте нічого.
Україна для мене цінність не тільки тому, що це земля моїх предків, моїх батьків, територія моєї свободи і моєї гідності. Це земля людей, яких я відчуваю поруч з собою, пліч-опліч, і мертвих, і живих, і ненароджених, для яких вона також є цінністю. Тих людей, які платять надзвичайно високу ціну за те, щоб вона і далі була землею свободи і землею гідності.
All of us together, museum workers from Ukraine, cherish and protect our cultural heritage because it is what's at the core of our identity. We are responsible for our heritage. Our culture is our greatest treasure and our weapon to fight for our dignity and our freedom, because a nation exists only as long as it has its own culture. The aggressor knows and understands the importance of culture. That is why for decades it erased the boundaries of our culture with the deceiving term, "We are brothers," to prove that we do not really exist, that we are one people with them. You know this because the same aggressor has more than once encroached our cultural and political borders within our governments and nations. It has sought and continues to seek a hegemony which includes an absolute dominance over the cultural sphere. Its aim is to absorb it all into the boundless empire of the so-called Great Russian culture. There is no other value to this desire. It's just to feed an appetite that has no boundaries or limits. It is hostile to any culture that is not its own. Many Russians will tell you that the Slavic world is nothing more than the sphere of influence under the rule of Russian world, where the elder brother must be heeded and all other nations become its lesser copies and obedient slaves. Unfortunately, this is not our merely history. This is our modern reality. The reality of war. Ukrainian museums have become direct targets of Russian weapons. Air raids, missile attacks and bombings have become signs of our everyday life. There has been loss of human life among the civilian population, including museum workers and other cultural figures. Buildings have been destroyed, civilian and cultural heritage sites alike, and with it our cultural treasures have been lost, destroyed, mutilated, stolen or appropriated by the Russians. This is not of the pages of textbooks or film, but from our current life. Contrary to our own ambitions, we were forced to abandon other occupations and hobbies to become soldiers of heritage, the keepers of our own cultural values in the face of military risk and threats, the keepers and guarantors of historical traditions, the creators of new identity. What should a museum do during the war? Our answer is to be a space of security, dialogue, understanding, and social cohesion. At a time when war has become our everyday life, we have been made to realize the importance of honoring true value. What was once commonplace for us before the war has become incredibly important to us today. We grow stronger in the flames of war, as steel is tempered in a crucible. Having lived through its practice, we have become aware of our strengths and weaknesses. Ukrainian museums today are not only treasuries of the past, but also the fortresses of the present and forges of the future. In a time of dynamic challenges and dangers, we, the Franca House team, continue to realize our mission to be a house of heritage, creativity, and knowledge. Our mission has become deeper and more meaningful. We have become a place of strength and cohesion. But above all, we work to rethink our history and help construct a new formula for Ukrainian identity. We are for a Slavic world without the Russian world. We are for a world without violence and contempt, in which there are no lesser cultures, but rather respect for cultural diversity and the ability to hear, understand, and support one another. The price we pay for the right to be ourselves and for just the right to exist is very high. Ukrainians give their lives for the value of culture and the culture of value. We understand that this is our modern mission and vocation, to defend the communal values of freedom, equality, dignity, and community. We are part of not only the Slavic world and more broadly of European civilization, but also a world of common values. We know we are not alone. We feel your support and help. Thanks to you, we did not die in the maelstrom of war, but rallied and became even stronger. We understand that only together we will be able to withstand and win this war, a war for culture and heritage, and not just for territory and political influence. If the culture survives, so will the people. For the people to win, culture must win. We thank you for this and believe that together we can win and be equal in the diversity of our cultures and the commonality of our values. We are not victims of circumstance, but creators of history, and we are writing this story together.